Hello, this is Mr. McCarthy. And if you haven't watched the previous video, make sure you go back and watch it, or else this one might not really make a lot of sense. So previously we talked about we're going to be starting a business. We talked about how we're going to structure it, right? License and permits. We talked about getting the money. Now, in my personal opinion, I think finances and location are the two most important things when it comes to starting a business. And finances might be the most important thing because you can have a great business idea, you can have a great location, you can have a great everything else. But if you don't have the money to actually get your business off the ground, it's never going to make it anywhere. So for my 2 cents, money is probably, and finances is probably the most important thing when it comes to starting a business. We talked about determining the nature, our financial needs, things like that. We looked at the SBA to see what they were talking about. And they talked about a lot of the same things. And this other website, the Balance SMB, both of them kind of hit on the same key facts when we were talking about our things with starting a business and going through the steps. And again, I think money and then maybe location are the most important things when it comes to starting a business. So you will need to know that for our test coming up. So make sure you do know about money and location. So today we're going to talk about, we're going to start our business. Let me present our little thing here. So we're going to talk about starting a business. So when we start a business, we have to have a structure. We have to figure out how we're going to set up our business to operate. So we have a couple different things that we're going to talk about in this class or in this lesson. We talk about a sole proprietorship. It's only one person, hence the sole part of it. All right. So one person, you get all the responsibility, you get all the glory, you get everything. We talk about, or we will talk about, a partnership. 2 or more people, there can be a couple different people in it. It could be 2 people, it could be 4. There's 2 different ones we'll talk about, being a general partnership or a limited partnership. They are a little bit different, and legality, they are a little bit different also. We'll talk about a corporation who has many owners, and the owners are the stockholders of the corporation. Okay, so that's going to be something we're going to talk about later. That's also going to be a question on your test. The owners of the corporation being the stockholders. And then we have a hybrid, a limited liability partnership, limited liability company. We'll come back and touch on those here in some forthcoming videos. Thank you, iHeart. So first one we're going to talk about today, being a sole proprietorship. Right? Simplest business form under which one can operate a business. Easiest thing to start. You can go start a sole proprietorship by yourself because it's just you. You don't have to talk to anybody. You don't have to run anything by anybody else. It's just you. All right. Type of enterprise that is owned and run by one person, hence the sole part of it, and in which there is no legal distinction between the owner and the business entity. You are one and the same. Now, this has some tax liability and some tax things that are good for taxes and things that are bad for taxes. That's a little bit more than we're going to get into as far as when we're talking about a sole proprietorship. But do know that your stuff is together. There's no distinction between the owner and the business. And also, sole proprietorship refers to a person who owns the business and is personally responsible for its debts. So that's what we were talking about with the no legal distinction. And this will kind of be the only thing that we'll really focus on when we talk about the legal distinction. But in the sole proprietorship, you as a person are responsible for your business. So if you were to take out a business loan you got lucky and got a $500,000 business loan, which is great, but now you're personally responsible. You can't just say, well, that's for my business and the business is responsible. No, sole proprietorship, you're both. You are the business and you are the entity. And the thing that can really get you here, debts can be paid by taking your personal assets. So that's the part you really want to make sure that we understand about a sole proprietorship is they can come take your personal stuff. There's not a lot of protection. So continuing with our sole proprietorship. So in sole proprietorship, and we'll ask these questions when we go through all of them. So in a sole proprietorship, who makes decisions? Well, it's just you. So you're the only person making the decisions. How quickly can those decisions be enacted? Well, it depends on how quick you want to operate and how quick you want to go. It's just you, so it's as quick as you want to go. Who's responsible for the company and the direction it goes? Well, the sole proprietor. It's just you. Right? These are kind of easy because you're in charge of all of it. Who assumes the risk? You have all the risk and you have 100% of the risk. So that's kind of the bad thing about the sole proprietorship. You have all the risk. But at the same time, you get all the profit. So all the risk or all the profit. You got to figure out which one you want. Who's liable for any claims against the company? Again, you are the company. You're the sole proprietor. And to what extent are they liable? As far as they want to go legally. And you can be sued and you can be taken pretty far. And then the last one we have, who covers the expenses? Again, it's your business. You're the only one. You're responsible for every aspect of it that there is. Let me get all these brought up here real quick. So we talk about a sole proprietorship. Some examples. Technically, a doctor could have a sole proprietorship if it's just him working by himself. So any place where it's just that one person by themselves. An auto mechanic could have a sole proprietorship. It's him. It's his business. There's no one else involved with it. So anytime it's just you. We'll talk about responsibilities that would need to be taken care of. You're the sole proprietor. You're the only person. Unless you're going to hire some people in these different aspects and different jobs, you're responsible. You're responsible for the management decisions, finance, human resources. We talk about who you're going to hire, how you're going to pay your employees, taking care of them, marketing, sales, logistics. All right. If it's just you, you're responsible for all of this. As you hire employees, you might start putting some of these decisions and some of these things onto them.